Sure. So I am a 26-year educator. I started out actually as a first grade teacher, which some people know about me. And it was interesting because I was trained to be a fourth through eighth grade, a middle school teacher, higher elementary. And being a new teacher, some of you probably know this, when you're a new teacher, you are sometimes given like whatever job is left over. And so they said, hey, we have a first grade opening. Do you want to try that? And I was like, I don't even know how to teach first graders. And they gave me one day to come in and observe a class. And then the next day I started. And let me just tell you, it was epically fun. And they cried for the first 2 weeks. But after that, I cried probably for the first like 2 months. And after that, I finally go, oh, these are great. So I started out there and then kind of worked my way around in education. I spent some time as an ed tech coach. I worked for different schools here in the Austin area and worked my way up to a director of innovation and digital learning, which was the title that I gave myself without board permission and got in trouble for because I changed my email signature and my business card because I didn't want technology in my title anymore because I felt like the role needed to transcend fixing printers and projectors. And so I said, let's make it about innovation. Let's make it about the learning. So I changed my title and then 3 months later got called into my superintendent's office for being in trouble for that. But, sometimes ask for forgiveness, not permission. And then yeah, in the last 5 years, I've been doing a lot of work as an advisor, consultant for ed tech companies, but also working with school districts all over the country and speaking at national and state conferences, just connecting with adults and adult learners. Specifically lately, the last couple of years, of course, around AI, which is everybody's topic du jour these days. The book is Learning Evolution, the New Era of AI in the Classroom. And the way I designed this book is twofold because anytime you write a book on AI, it's going to be obsolete the second you hit publish. So rather than focusing only on tools, I do have some tools in the back of the book. For the most part, what I'm talking about is ideology, strategies, vision, kind of mindset around AI. So the book is split very much in half. The first half is really talking about how to teach about bias and ethics and all the things that run the engine that is AI and kind of scaffolding that for kids. The back half of the book is more about, okay, if you're a teacher of fifth grade math or a teacher of AP physics, whatever, what are some things that you could try to do with kids using a variety of tools too? So again, a little mix of both. People always ask me, did AI write the book? And I am like, it's funny because AI does not write like me. So I tried to get it to write some things and I was like, that doesn't sound like me at all. However, there are some subsections that I have highlighted in like a gray box whenever I have AI do something as examples. I'm like, I want to call it out and say, plus I want to show that this is how you're transparent with AI and learning. So, which is part of one of the big things takeaways from the book is like, we need to be more transparent about that with our kids and have them be transparent with us. Yeah, one of the ones I particularly did in the latest edition, because I'm doing the updates now, is that there's a kind of a 4-part strategy for using AI. The first is, let's figure out a way to introduce AI in different types of learning process. And so the typical one is always brainstorming. Let AI brainstorm for you while the students still create, test and redesign, and then kind of reflect on their final project themselves. So that's part one. Part two would be, okay, let's take that to the next level. So the next time you have an assignment or a project or a paper, the students do the brainstorming feature of this, but then when they get to maybe the create part, they have AI create visuals or a draft or an outline for them to get started. And then again, they kind of redesign it themselves, re-edit it, and then reflect on it themselves. Part three, same kind of idea. Instead of doing the brainstorming create part now, though, AI is doing the editing part. So you've now written the paper, put it into AI and have it give you some responses. Or if you've done the presentation, ask AI for some feedback on it. And then the final stage, which would be after a fourth project, you would say, okay, I've done the whole thing as a human now, but at the end, rather than asking for teacher to give me reflective questions, I'm going to ask AI to give me reflective questions about what I did, and then respond to those questions, and that's part of my turning in for the assignment. So in doing so, I'm using AI for one little part, but I'm also using the human part for the rest of it, and demonstrating the learning process, which is a big part of this, is why AI can't really cheat process. So having AI as part of that questioning and a thought partner there at the end, I think is important. So that's one of them. And I lay it down in a little bit more specificity than that in the book, but that's one that I think is particularly helpful for teachers just trying to get their hands around how do I get started with this. Yeah, next for me, I'm actually writing a two-part book called Zengage, the antidotes for the anxious generation, which is going to be part for parents and part for classrooms. So I'm still in the process of doing that. You can follow my two biggest podcasts would be ISTE's Learning Unleashed and All for Ed's Undisrupted podcast. You can find me at carlhooker.com. My blog is at hookedoninnovation.com. Most social media platforms I've switched over. I'm now at Hooker Tech. I used to be at Mr. Hooker on X, Twitter, but I'm still sort of slowly going away from that and moving over to Blue Sky and a bunch of other things. And I also co-lead a platform called K-12 Leaders, which is a social platform for educators, made by educators for educators. So check me out. I'm just at Carl there because I was the second one on the platform. So that's always kind of fun.
All right, awesome. I'm going to stop the recording.